Hello everyone, and welcome to Clay Formations, where I show you how I sculpt with polymer clay. Or at least try. Alright, let's get to it. I wanted to see if I could make a realistic looking eyeball. So I did some research and found out that a lot of sculptors who make eyes will carve the eyeball on the inside and then paint it, cover it with UV resin, and that gives it the depth that it needs to make it look real. So let's see how well I do with this one. I found some black liquid Sculpey that worked really well. All I had to do is dab it in, move it around a little bit, and it was done. Now to complete the pupil, we'll cover it with UV resin. Now we're going to take some red yarn and separate the fibers, and that is going to represent the veins and capillaries inside the eyes. Now we're going to take some gloss varnish and brush it onto the eye, and then we will lay the yarn fibers over the eye. Once all the veins have been attached to the eye, you can cover it in UV resin and cure it with the UV light. Now we need to make something to attach the eyeball to. And heaven help me, this is what I came up with. I decided that this eye was going to leave the head that it was in and go for a walk. And as it was walking along, it felt a little bit threatened, and it showed its true colors and claws. Once the arms are attached to the main wire, we will attach it with a zip tie and epoxy sculpt. And now we'll pose the arms. Now that we have the pose we like, we'll cover them in aluminum foil. Then we'll coat it with liquid Sculpey and cover it with some ultralight. I found that wrapping thin sheets of aluminum foil around arms gives it a much better taper, and it gives the clay something to hold on to. Now we'll condition the clay with some red flocking. It will give the clay a more natural skin look. And after it's embedded into the clay, you end up with this. Now we'll add the armature for his tail. Now after a coating of liquid Sculpey, we can start adding the clay. that he's totally covered in clay, we can start adding the details. I had in mind Rob Bottin's The Thing design in mind when I did this. I really wasn't sure where it was going to go. I just started carving out some sections of it and just basically let it take on its own character as I went. Now we'll set some stringy tendons between his elbows. Now we'll add some claws to the ends of his arms. And you know what? While we're at it, why don't we make an arm with 3 claws? Oh yeah, that's gonna look wicked. Right now what I'm trying to do is I'm trying not to repeat the patterns too much. It wasn't easy to do because it seemed like I was rather repetitive in certain areas, but I had to walk away from it a little while and then come back, and then I could see a different type of pattern that I could use. Okay, all done and ready to bake. Alright, now we attach the eye, put some epoxy sculpt in between it, and then cover it with polymer clay, and then we add the stringy tendons to the eye. After this was complete, I used the heat gun to cure the Sculpey because I didn't want to put the piece back into the oven because with the eye being covered with UV resin, the eye would turn yellow. And now to try a technique that I've never done before, which is taking pastels and scraping it off into a powder and then using the powder to brush onto the piece. Kind of like if you were to put on eyeshadow or something like that. I really did enjoy the results I got from using the powder technique. It almost looked like it was done by an airbrush. The only challenging part of it is that you run out of the powder really quick and you have to go back and forth to load up your brush. But other than that, I was really pleased. I'll be using this technique a lot in the future. Alright, now that that's all done, all that's left is to give the piece a coating of gloss varnish. And while we're doing that, I want to say thank you for watching. I really appreciate your time. Please tap the like button, it helps my channel to grow. Subscribe if you'd like to be reminded about new videos. I upload a new video the first Saturday of every month. And a huge thank you to all of my subscribers. I cannot tell you how much I appreciate you. Please enjoy the completed shots. Take care, and we'll see you next time.